Hi there, guys. So the series of options that it comes with, you have all-in-ones, base actions that you can work with, right through to really shortcuts for exposure, temperature, correcting colour, portrait retouches, enhancing tones, with some funky names like Hot Kiss and Whisperer and Dark Island and all that kind of thing. Vignettes, not vinaigrettes. Light glow, so that's those sunlight rays that I was telling you about earlier. And Candy Store, which is a little bit more for the advanced portrait retouching, with some web file preparations if you wanted to put your photos online as well. So it really does depend on what it is that you're trying to do with them and work your way through. So they did send me a few instructions on how to install the actions, which I can run through with you. If you have any questions, I can do a little PDF or infographic on it later on, but I just wanted to show you what difference something like this can make. Now, I'm not endorsed, that's one thing I will say, by Sleeklens. I do get quite a lot of emails saying, would you like to try this and that? And I only will try something that I feel would benefit myself. And obviously my clients and you guys as well. You can get a lot of stuff free actions out on the World Wide Web. So my advice is go and have a play and have a look around and see what ones take your fancy. So the one thing that I wasn't that happy about was that these funky names and funky descriptions of fizzly, matte, and slumber, yellow-green tone is all fine and well, but I want to know what it does behind the scenes, and sadly it doesn't tell you. I can't find it anywhere on the website or any of the information that they sent over to me for the download. So I don't know if that's something that I'm overlooking, but certainly wanted to work through with you or to tell you anyway. So the base, that's where I like to start. The base covers all of these 5 different options and applies it to the whole overall image. So that's including your portrait and in the background. The one that I have been loving so far is golden hours. So imagine that you're photographing in golden hour, that really rich gold, vibrant light, really warm and lovely. 1 hour before sunrise or 1 hour before sunset. And this is what happens. Take a minute for it to load. So it builds up all these different layers. I'll show you the history in just 1 second. So that's where it opened. It's done all these different things of blending modes and different shadow highlights and different colour changes until it gets to the final point. So I'll turn that one off there. So that's our original image. I'm just going to zoom in a tiny little bit, which isn't too bad at the moment. I feel it's a little bit too cold and there's work that we can do with that. And that's what it is already. So instantly that's made it warmer. That's what I'm looking for. I don't want her to look cold. I want her to look lovely and warm, and that whole environment, it makes it nice and inviting. So if it is too strong, because it's quite yellow on her skin now, you can drop the opacity down on it. And you can hold down that little button on the slider and that will show you and drag to 100%, which is full, 0% which is nothing, and obviously 50% is somewhere in the middle between full and nothing, and I think actually looks quite nice. So to select both the layers, we can then flatten that image, and that takes all that information from base golden hours and applies it to the background layer, the main image. So we could save it as that just now, but we're not going to. So we'll go back up to actions, and the whole idea is that you work through all these different actions if you wish to. So exposure, we can make it brighter or we can make it darker. So I'm actually going to make it a little bit darker on this one. There's no right or wrong here. It's completely what you want to do to apply to your image. Now you'll see that that was at 0%. And if I move that up, that is going to apply it to the whole image. Now I don't really want to apply it to the whole image because it doesn't look right. So what we do then is pick up a brush and then make it a little bit bigger by using the open brackets and paint over the areas that we do not, oops, do it in black, paint over the areas that we do not want it to affect the image. So I'm going to paint over our lovely model and her hand. And then you can see action as well. You can then see what that's done then. So it's almost created like halo, but it's made our background a little bit darker because I'm wanting to make our model stand out from our background. So that looks ridiculous though, so I'm going to drop it back down. So we could see in 0 that's with nothing on it, or so somewhere about there. So I quite like that. So that's what it looks like without, and then with. Actually, I'm going to drop it down a little bit more. It's too dark for my style of photography. But then if you like it that way, then by all means leave it that way. And I'm going to flatten and include that as well. Next on the hit list is the temperature. So we can run these actions. So you simply click whatever action pack that you may have, click on that one, and then you press run at the bottom. And then it says it comes up sometimes with these warnings, but it's fine. We can continue with that one. Go back to layers, and then we can see here that it's at 0 again. If we put that right up to 100%, that's far too warm. So maybe put it somewhere down here a little bit so we can see the overall change. I actually quite like that, it looks really great. And flatten that one as well. Back to actions. Now, there's colour corrections here. I'm actually quite happy with the colour on that one so far. So I'm just going to leave that one and skip this whole section. Portrait retouch, that says skin, hair, makeup. So those are all the different areas that we can work on. You can brighten eyes and do different bits and pieces on there, so that's really fun. These are the enhanced tones. So these are the ones that I was saying earlier that have some brilliant names and some fun ones, but I'm not 100% sure what exactly they do. But if you want to just add a little bit of colour to it, I think that looks really fun. I might keep that one as it is. And then, so back to something like that, like Dark Island. So that has completely changed those yellow flowers in the background to green. Now, if you're wanting to make it a bit more of an evergreen photograph and you don't want the yellow little flowers, or you want to remove or change a colour, then you could by all means do something like this. Or you could drop it down a touch to somewhere midway. I like the warmth of the yellow, so I'm actually going to delete that one. Back to actions. If you would like to add a vignette, that's certainly personal preference. For me, I'm not a fan of vignettes. I think they look a bit dated sometimes, but they look right. They look okay if they've been done correctly. On these ones, it adds a brown one, a blue one, a cream one, or a dark one. And again, you can change the intensity of those. So I'm going to do them at 100% so you can just see that little dark edge creeping through. The blue one doesn't look right for that kind of shot. It looks like an Instagram image, but it's quite funky. So if you wanted to do that on yours, by all means, if you're maybe doing like a beach shoot or something, that'd be quite fun. The cream ones worked quite well there, so it's made it a little bit more hazy. It's certainly made the attention on our model rather than the surround and what's on the edges. And then you could add a plain dark one, which is kind of the standard ones. But again, no, they're not my bag, so I'm just going to delete those ones and head back over here. Now these are a little bit of a more popular movement, I would say, at the moment. A lot of people are adding light glows into their images, but it can be one of two things. It can look amazing and it can actually look realistic when you add a light glow to a photograph, as long as it's coming in the right direction of where the sun's landing, or it can look completely fake, as if you've got about 7 different suns in the sky, all shining at different points. So this one's a good one to kind of just play around with. If we do a cream one, because we want to keep it quite neutral, because we've got a lot of colour in the background, and we're running with the cream. Movable just basically means that we can move it around. So this is your move tool up here on Photoshop if you're not familiar with it. And we head back over to layers once it's done this little thing. And then we can move it around the image. So that looks very, very fake, but I love the colour of it. That looks even more fake at 100%, but then let's drop it right down to about 30. There we go. And then we can move that around. So I actually quite like it. I see quite a lot of people doing them in the middle. But I like to see the definition on my portraits. So I probably move it off to the side. So it just adds that little glow to the image. even just at the bottom, that'd be quite nice. But then you don't have the sun shining up at the bottom, so I would have a tendency to keep it more at the top. I think that's really quite lovely. Even be happy to move that down a little bit more to like 20%. That's better. And you can change the colour of that one and all sorts. So it's really quite fun to play with. So you've got the candy store. I think that's a different pack that they do, which is a bit more advanced for advanced Photoshop users. But the advanced portrait retouch one was quite fun. I just want to show you one of these on here. So all I'm going to show you is the makeup part of this one. Now you can see this is taking a little bit longer than what it would do for a standard image that you're editing. But once you get used to it a little bit more, then certainly you can play a little bit more and it will take you a little bit quicker to work with it. So with these, it's suggesting different brushes that you can use. So you can sharpen the eyes and the lips, you can dodge and burn. So something that I really like to do with portraits is to work on them as if I was a makeup artist. So it's saying a brush at 5% opacity. I'm going to keep it on 100% at the moment because I just want to show you this. Now that is not how we really wear our eyeliner, ladies, is it? But then if I drop that right down to, say, 20%, we can build in those fake eyelashes again and that eyeliner. Just to really make sure that these eyes pop. And over the eyelashes, and even over the eyebrow as well. Because as we know, it's all about those eyebrows at the moment. You can even go as far as definition and contouring. So you can enhance a natural contour, even a lip liner. And I even go around the iris because it just gets great definition on the coloured part of the eye and just builds it up a little bit more. So from that angle you can't really see, so if we zoom in, so that's around about, that's a 50%, we can see the difference that that has made. If we drop that down a little bit more, it looks really quite natural. Quite a difference. I love the definition of her eye now. I'm quite happy with that line there because even though I'm turning it on and off, it looks fake when we're doing it. But if you didn't see the before, you wouldn't really notice any difference. So I'm going to keep that as it is. And that is our portrait. So I'm going to flatten all of that and that will save it as a JPEG. Discard the hidden layers, that basically means the ones that we haven't turned on to work with. I will just do a quick save. Excuse me a second. Save that one as a high res JPEG. And away we go. That is the difference in those two images. So it's just brought it completely to life. Add that vibrancy. It looks as if it's a lovely day when in fact it was a horrific day. It was extremely overcast, raining. It wasn't the nicest day at all. But now it just looks really quite lovely and sunny and warm and just a great portrait, and that definition in her face now is fantastic. The makeup looks amazing. And I'm really happy with that. So that is just a very quick run through example on how you can use actions to alter your portraits, your landscapes. It can be absolutely anything at all that you work on, your doggy portraits, anything whatsoever, as long as you can find a pack that you're happy with and that you can play with them. I think the real main thing is not to completely overdo it 100%, because then that's when things start to look really fake. I would say that that's near to my near enough style for my portraits and weddings. Possibly a little bit too much with that haze coming over here, so I'd possibly dial that back a little bit, but I do like vibrant and nice and contrasty images. So I hope that's helped a little bit. If you've got any questions, pop them in the comments beneath and I will speak with you